The doors to the Patients Getting Paid membership community are now wide open. This is a community of people with chronic illness learning to find and create flexible, remote work that accommodates their health. I call us chronicpreneurs. There are trainings, coaching calls, networking opportunities, co-workings, and a ton of resources. Want to take better care of yourself and still generate an income? Join us at patientsgettingpaid.com. Welcome to the FUMS Now podcast show, where you'll gain information, inspiration, and motivation for living your best life with multiple sclerosis. Find us online at FUMSnow.com. I'm your host, Kathy Reagan Young. Hello and welcome. I appreciate you choosing to spend some time with me today. My guest today is author of a romance novel, and she's a wife, mother, daughter, friend with MS, and all that can entail. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book. But first, let me remind you that you can share your FUMS spirit with the world by wearing some FUMS merchandise available over at FUMSnow.com/shop. And if you aren't on the FUMS newsletter list, do yourself a favor and sign up. I do all the work for you. I curate articles and studies and points of interest, the top 6 topics in MS for that week. It's called the FUMS 6-Pack, and you can sign up for it at FUMSnow.com/get-the-scoop. Delaney Parker is an author who lives in upstate New York with her family. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in October of 2008. It was her diagnosis with MS that inspired her to write her debut novel, Grace, featuring a woman navigating not only an MS diagnosis, but marriage, parenting, and friendship. I really enjoyed the novel's accurate depiction of life with MS, but also its super steamy subtext. Wow. Think 50 Shades of MS. Let's go meet this talented writer. Welcome, Delaney.
Welcome for me. Thank you so much to have me. I'm so excited to be here. I really am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for writing this. This was so good. But we're going to get to the book, but let's start at the beginning. Like pre-MS, what did your life look like then?
Pre-MS, I had a full-time job. I worked for Medicare. I had just gotten married. We decided to, hey, let's have a baby because everything looks perfect.
Yeah.
And by the time I was 5 months pregnant, I was already having issues. And I was taken out of work, put on workers' compensation. And by the time that I could go back to work, my position had been dissolved. So I went back upstate with a baby. And within 5-6 months, I'd already had little things that were starting to be off. And I didn't understand what was going on. And then in December of, I think, 07, right? Yeah, 07, right. December of 07. It was really that long ago. I really age myself every time I talk about it.
You were a mere child at the time.
I stand up and my legs just went out like they weren't there. And I heard my baby crying. So I literally army crawled to get to him because I was like, I have no idea what's happening right now. And that's when I realized whatever these little things are, something is happening. Something big here is going on that's more than just, I don't feel good.
Yeah. Holy cow. That's really unusual. Most people with MS women obviously feel really good when they're pregnant. I did. I always say if it didn't result in another child, I would be pregnant the rest of my life. That's how good I felt. That's unusual. You felt.
I did not do well during pregnancies. I had a flare up while I was pregnant. It was not great.
Wow.
It was not great, but they're worth it.
Yeah,
they are.
Exactly.
It was
they
worth
are
it.
worth it.
But,
they are worth it.
Ooh, at the time, there's
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Just trying to hold on.
Yeah. As we said, you were diagnosed with MS in 2008. Tell us about the journey to get there. I understand you were beginning to think you may be insane, but finally found a diagnosis with WebMD. What's that story?
I didn't think I was crazy. I thought everyone around me was a traitor and a jackass, but I did not think I was crazy because I'm like, wait a minute. Nobody, in my mind, I could not imagine manifesting something so much in just my psyche that my body literally was just giving out on me. Like, I was pretty happy. So they're like, oh, I was told I was bipolar. I was told I was obese. I was 185 at the time. Again, I had a baby. I was juicy. My mouth and my butt matched, but I wasn't so heavy that my legs would just go out. You know, it was a little much. And I was trying to tell everyone what was going on. And everyone was like, really? You're just, it's hard having a baby.
That
and I'm
face.
like, oh my goodness. And lucky for me, I was one of 6 kids. Babies have never been a mystery. I was changing diapers at 3. I'm not saying I didn't have a little postpartum, but that's not why your legs go out.
Right.
That's not why your speech is slurring. For me, maybe there's a more. I don't want to.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah.
And it was really hard. And I went to the doctor again and again, and they kept telling me that it was, you're bipolar. It's this. They put me on Seroquel, and the first night I was on it, I couldn't even get myself to bed. I had to get walked to my bed. And then they said, oh, isn't it great? Because now your symptoms are going away. Well, it's not because of the medication. It's because the flare-up was ending, and that's just how it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it happened again and again, and no one believed me. And then it was around October of 2008 when it happened again, and I refused to leave my doctor's office. And he said, you know what? This is just a bunch of fodder. I will never forget that word. And I'm just going to let you do this because you're just not going to stop. Because I'm not going to stop because I knew it, And he made me an appointment with a neurologist. I went in there and I let him know. I was like, listen to me. I will not be leaving here without a recommendation from MRI to someone.
Something. Yeah.
Within 2 days, I was back in the office because I was in the middle of a flare-up. And this whole time I'm trying to parent and be okay while everyone around me is telling me that it's all in my head and I'm full of it. And I'm like,
oh gosh.
Yeah, so it was a little bit hard there.
Oh my gosh. So how long did it take once you got to a neurologist? How long did it take to get that diagnosis?
3 days. Because once you get an MRI, they go,
pretty obvious.
They called me within the next day. He said to come on in. And I was like, oh, yeah. Nobody called me in the office that fast for no reason.
Right. Did you go back to your primary care and say, fuck your fodder? I mean, really, that's
He
awful.
didn't remember that. He was like, I don't remember.
Convenient.
I have found out a lot that tends to happen.
Yeah.
I don't remember things they may have said. So there is that. I do remember. Yeah, it was interesting because when the doctor had to give me the diagnosis, I was with my husband, and he said that based on your MRI, based on all of this, it's MS. As your wife, and I love to be, and I told you so as it is. Like, this was glorious because I was excited. I'm not crazy. Okay,
relief in knowing.
I made him say it again while I eyeballed my husband, and
right.
There's that then.
Yeah.
Then. And it was only truly because he was so afraid. The idea that something was wrong with us, we were at a tender place. Like, our marriage was so young. We were a tender little reed, and that storm was way too big. And the idea that this girl, like, she's my wife and she just had a baby and she's great otherwise, and this can't be wrong with her. But it did take me a long time to find a place of not yelling and not bringing, not feeling some kind of way about it.
I bet. I'm just listening to you talk, and you're such a you love language, obviously, which was obvious in this book, but you just said, it was a tender read. I mean, it's so descriptive. Everything you write and say, I just had to bring attention to that. So were you a writer prior to writing this book, or are you trained in writing?
Even in high school, I used to write my friends' homeworks because it was fun for me to write stories. I would be like, oh, you have something to do? I'll write it for you.
Oh, so you always enjoyed it.
Yeah, always. I don't know. I like telling stories. I talk a lot. I'm pretty sure you're going to, I talk quite a bit.
Well, you're in the right place. But did you have designs on making that a career?
Other than, ever since I was little, because of the way I talk and how I'm so animated, it was often said I should be a writer or an actress or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I think I read a ton as a kid. I read so much, and I was never trained in the way that, I took all these writing classes, but I was trained in the way that I ate books. I devoured them constantly. So I literally read everything I could get my hands on.
That's legitimate training.
I was reading over 1,000 pages a day, like 1,000 pages a week at like 14. All I would do is just read. I remember as an adult before, and I'm not saying it was a wise move, but I would have a book open on my seat in my car, and I would read at red lights because I could not.
Wow.
read. When I was a little
Voracious.
kid, I went to a sleepover with the book Stuart Little, and I was reading my book at the sleepover, and I didn't know it was rude because I was like, "Oh, we're reading books."
Wow. That is
Yeah,
quite the
Stuart
story.
Little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were destined, my friend, obviously. So hearing that now, I know the answer to this question. I was going to ask you, is writing a gift or a burden to you? And my point of reference with that is it's a little bit of both for me. I consider
Yes.
myself a writer as well, but I find it
Yes.
incredibly daunting staring at a blank screen. Once I get started, I'm good, but it's like sitting down to write. It's like, shit, won't come out. Right?
I always tell everybody, I'm like, the beginning is like me trying to learn stick. There's gears grinding. There's a lot of noise, jerking. I definitely smell smoke. Something's
not right.
It takes a while for things to get their finesse. You know what I mean? Like
you got to oil it.
So, yeah. And you'll hear it like when I get to a point, like, oh, she's got legs. All right, she's walking around because it takes me a minute. Like I bring in the characters, and then I got to see how everyone goes. And you become almost like a court stenographer. That story does what it does after
Pours
I
out.
get started.
Good.
It has. I kind of just follow them around. It sounds so bizarre, and if I hadn't done it, I would never know. But
I get that.
After a while, they kind of just
take on a life of their own, and you're just documenting it, right?
Exactly.
Well, that comes through in this book. So your romantic novel, Grace, it's your debut. So I'm going to let you give our listeners a brief overview of the book. I'd likely spoil it. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut. So you tell everybody.
It's about a woman who, she has MS, but she's also a wife, a mother, a best friend. She's a daughter, and she has to try to navigate all those other relationships while also managing this illness that, like it or not, as we go, it takes bits and pieces. It takes things. And you're just trying so hard to still manage all of these things because you want so badly to still be a full person.
Right.
Nobody wants to just sit in their bed and only be a patient.
Right.
It's more than that. We're more than that. I'm more than my prescriptions. I'm more than my cane. I'm more than this. Like, I'm more than this. Even if I'm not the same girl, I'm still here. I'm still in here, and I still feel stuff, and I still want to. And that was what's important to me. And that's what came out in the character. She wants everything to really be okay. She knows that things aren't right in her marriage, but like all of us, I think we tend to not look at things if we're not ready to see them.
Right.
And
la.
Yeah, exactly. So the book isn't so much a romance. I almost feel it's a movie term, but it's a dramedy. There's fun in it. Like, there's definitely like
100%.
between the two main characters, Marie and Margaret, they're ridiculous. They make me laugh a lot.
Yes.
And I think it's fantastic to do, but they're just, you got to go with it. And they're trying so hard. Marie is so protective, and Margaret is just
love their relationship. Yeah.
She's so kind. And I look, great girl, love her to death. Not me.
Right.
And the book is more about navigating through all of it. Like, what's going on in your marriage? How are your friends? Is your friend checking in with you? What goes on between a daughter and a mother? Because this book isn't about a woman and her MS journey. This is a woman who's living, and she has MS.
Exactly.
Like, MS is only one tiny part of what the true drama in the book has nothing to do with her illness. The true drama in the book and the climax and the reason we all showed up to the fire to hear the story has very little to do with anything about her MS. And in the end, you find that out. It wasn't about MS. It's about character and who you are and who you're with, and who you surround yourself with.
Yep.
And the choices you make. So, the book is a lot, and it's all of it is raw and real, and definitely give it a shot.
Well, I have to be honest and tell you that I get a lot of books sent to me to review, and they want to come on the show. Most haven't been very good, to be honest with you. So I was a little jaded when I opened yours. I was immediately pleasantly surprised.
Thank you so much.
I liked the story, or stories, as it turned out. I like your very accurate depiction of MS and how you wove it throughout the book. You're a very good writer, very descriptive. I was into it immediately, and I could envision each scene because you gave me so much detail that it painted a picture in my mind. I mean, I just can't say enough. I know I'm gushing a little bit, but honestly, I was not expecting a lot, but it's so good. So obviously it was your own MS battle that inspired you to write this novel about a woman navigating through not only a chronic illness, but marriage and parenting and friendship. And really, as you just said, MS was, a sub character. I mean, it's like it is for us. I mean, it's there,
Yes,
but we have a
exactly.
lot of life to live. So we just go on with it. And oh yeah, the MS is there too. And
That's why it was important for me to write about different situations, because yes, we have to go to the doctor. We have our MRIs. I do slur. My feet hurt. I'm not okay, but I'm still a best friend. I'm still going to, be a wife. I'm still going to be a woman, a parent.
Yeah.
Like there's all these things. I don't get to stop being a mom or any of that just because I don't feel good.
Yes.
It doesn't work that way.
Here's something else I really loved about it. You didn't duck the husband-wife, the marriage relationship. You were really honest about it, and her husband, you were very clear in and honest and raw with his language and what he thought about it. And I thought, this is brilliant, because too many people skate around this and pretend. And why pretend? It is what it is. And once we know what we're dealing with, that's when we can deal with it, right? This pretending bullshit doesn't help anybody.
And no, it doesn't. And it was important for me to write about the things that happen between the words, between the shoulds and the shouldn't. Like, oh, I don't know if I should be mad. Well, it doesn't matter. Do you feel mad?
Right.
I don't know if I have a right to this. Well, we're not talking about what you have a right to. Yeah, where are you at here?
Yes.
I go underneath the shoulds. I want to know how it really is. And even if you don't have a right to feel a certain way, or if it's not correct or socially, this is how you're feeling. This is where you're at.
Exactly.
And the guy remember, he's talking to himself. And the fact is, I'm glad to see there's moments where he's a little truthful with himself.
Yes.
Because through a lot of it, he doesn't want to see what it is that he's actually doing and why he is where he's at with things.
Yes.
And it truly was important for Margaret to go through it, because it wasn't about her at all. We tried to, and everyone, of course, but when you're going to always try to blame and rationalize behavior if it's something you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't should all over yourself. That's what I tell people. Don't should on yourself.
If I do, I'm going to be really disappointed. Disappointed.
Yeah. I just think this book is going to be good for people with MS and people who love people with MS. It just was so clarifying for me and honest. That's what I love. Authentic, really authentic relationships. It was so cool. So MS is, not inherently sexy, but this book is, sister. It's 50 Shades of MS. So why include such graphic detail?
Because life is graphic. Sex isn't polite. We're having sex. Is literally someone going to sail their ship to your shore? Probably not. I didn't want to talk in innuendos and well-placed ahs. If every other place in the book, I speak in those situations with authenticity. Married people have sex. People who are in love and fight, they have sex. Mm-hmm. And so, again, when you're having sex, I don't know if it's so graphic as much as the words are accurate, because that's what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I admit, before I wrote this book, I had never written something like that. You're going to laugh. I actually had to do, because I am such a nerd, a Google search on how to write sex sounds, because I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And what it was is I was writing a scene, and it just seemed like this is a natural place where a wife and a husband would probably make up.
Yeah.
And when you make up, what else you got? Sorry, but you're
right.
Business in town. I'm going. So that was what it is. And you know what? It's not romantic. It is some sex. That's what's going on. There might be romantic love, like I love you, but that is not what's happening here. We're going to get out of business. If I can rage at you and I can laugh with you, then when we have sex, I'll be just as real with that too.
Right. Yeah. No, super refreshing.
You are listening to this show on the Off-Script Health Radio Network. Yes, I said radio. My name is Matthew Zachary, co-founder and CEO here at Off-Script Health, and I wanted to thank you, the listener, for supporting our hosts, their guests, and our entire network of acclaimed shows, limited series, and major documentaries. In doing so, you are helping to fulfill our mission to make healthcare suck less for all of us, together. To learn more about Off-Script Health and our network of other shows, series, and documentaries, visit offscripthealth.com. That's offscript, no T.com.
Have you found that sharing your story has been helpful for you?
It has, because I realized I always knew I wasn't done, but I have more confidence. I'm like, I did this. I remember when I looked at my computer and it said 80,000 words, and I could not believe this was this moment. Here I am. And of course, I had gotten the computer for Christmas. I said, if somebody buys me a laptop, I'll write a book. And I'm sure my husband was like, oh, okay, sure you will. And so he gets me this computer, because again, going to write a book. Every one of their mom's going to write a book. But I'm such a jerk because I said it out loud. I don't want to look like I'm not going to do it now. So now I'm like,
right.
I just backed myself into a corner. Because on Christmas morning, when I open a laptop, I'm like, crap.
Yeah, I got to write a book now.
All right. I'll do it. And I got the first draft done in 6 months. And a great guy who was a friend of mine in school, his name is Mike. I had to read my book, and he said, sweetie, stop being so polite. He's like, why are you trying to be nice to everybody? He's like, you got to be real with this. Nobody wants to know about everyone being just nice.
Wow.
And that's when I was like, all right. Sure.
Okay.
And then I had to go back, and I had to be
challenge accepted.
Yeah, like Stephen King says, you have to kill your darlings. Like I had to. I didn't want to write about a husband like that. I didn't want to write about a wife like that, because that's not who I am. So it was hard, but I have to realize I'm not writing about me.
Right.
Let them be who they are. And I will tell you this: if it was me, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not nearly as understanding. No.
Right. We're not going to give it away, but me neither. I was waiting at that last page. I literally gasped at the end. I'm just going to say that. I literally gasped.
This is how we're doing it. Wow. And that's the thing, because right at that moment, I don't know it either until I'm there. And I'm like,
Margaret wrote it.
She would handle it, not how I would handle it.
Exactly.
So
I thought the same thing as I read it and went, oh, are you serious? And I thought, well, that is true to character. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but yes, I get it.
Marie's ready to she's eviscerating everybody.
I know. Marie would have.
She's ready to go at it with pretty much anybody most of the time.
I know. I loved her too.
Their friendship is very funny. And I am working on the sequel. I'm back at it.
Hallelujah.
So we'll see more of them being silly, because they are.
Good, because I miss them. When I read a good book, I miss characters. Thank you. I really do. I mean, when I read a good book, I find myself, I get so into it. If I haven't read them for a while, I'm wondering, wonder what they're up to today.
That is the biggest compliment you could give me, because Stephen King is the one who got me started reading like they were just food, and I was at the buffet. And consequently, even his Stephen King, his book on writing, that did it. That was what helped me the most, because it was, again, Frank. He said, write how you talk.
Yes.
You just write it down as if you're telling someone a story. If you want to tell the story, then tell it.
Yes.
So that is what's sometimes interesting, is having to back up and not write it down with words, like all perfect words and sentences. I have to say it out loud and literally just write the words I just said as they are.
Yeah.
And that isn't always.
I'm glad you did. It was so good.
Thank you so much. Oh, wow.
Thank you. I'm dying to know what they're up to. So hurry the hell. No, I don't want you to hurry, but I want you to hurry. It's all about me. I'm dying to know what they're up to. So get at it, sister.
Yeah, I would like to get it done, because again, it's just jerky, stops and starts. I smell smoke. It's better if we get this thing moving.
Right. Well, okay. Just so everybody knows, I'm including a link to Grace in the show notes so people can order theirs. If they want to learn more about you or follow you, where should they go?
They can go to Delaney-Parker.com.
Okay.
That's me right there. There's also, you can see me on Facebook, Delaney-Parker. And I have so much going on. I'm a dinosaur with technology. The fact that I even have any is shocking to me. My kids laugh at me pretty much on a daily basis because of my complete ineptitude.
Damn
with this.
kids. Yeah,
So,
me too.
yes. So on Amazon, you can get my book. You can also go to the Troy Bookmakers website and get my book. And you can even send me an email at read@delaney-parker.com.
Yay! And do you have any socials? Are you on social media at all?
I'm on Facebook, yes.
Okay. That's right. You did say that. Okay.
And I'm on Instagram as well.
Okay, perfect. I will include links to all of those in the show notes so nobody has to drive off the road. If you're listening while you're driving, I got you. Okay, so it is tradition on this pod to offer a little middle finger salute. So here we go. You ready? All right. We here in the FUMS Nation speak to this stupid disease as it deserves, and we tell it FUMS every day. Would you, Delaney Parker, please be so kind as to lead us in that salute to the bastard? With middle fingers extended, of course, on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Boom. FUMS.
Oh, perfect. That was a nice one. With attitude and sass. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And thanks for this book. And I can't wait. Can't wait for the sequel.
Thank you so much for having me again. It was a wonderful chat. Thank you.
Quick shout out to Steve Woodward at podcastingeditor.com for the fantastic work on this podcast, including editing, show notes, and ingenious ideas. If you'd like help with your podcast, whether you're just starting out or an old pro, visit podcastingeditor.com and tell Steve I sent you. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you listening to the FUMS podcast show. Be sure to subscribe to it so you won't miss an episode. You can do that right on the website at FUMSnow.com. While you're there, sign up for the free email list so you'll be among the first to know of any new findings in MS research, new therapies and products, as well as any blog posts and podcast episodes I release. Want to chat with others in the FUMS community? Join us on Facebook at FUMS Now. Thanks again, and don't forget to talk to the stupid disease as it deserves. Tell it FUMS every day.